Hi, everyone. You're tuning in to the Perfectly Powerfully You podcast, a space of epic positivity, radical self expression, and transformational growth. Join me in celebrating this beautiful thing we call life with even greater ease, flow, and authenticity. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Perfectly Powerfully You podcast. I'm your host, Nikita, and I trust, hope, and expect that you all are having a super stupendous, tremendous, and wonderful day so far. I am having a wonderful day today. It's been a busier day than expected, but also a very relaxed day at the same time. And really looking forward to sitting down with you guys and enjoying this beautiful podcast about burning ships, batten down the hatches because we're burning the boats and we're taking the island today. My beautiful friend, Allie, thank you, Allie, for being the inspiration again for this podcast. Her and I had another wonderful chat today during a walk in the forest and just around town, enjoying each other's company and talking about life and the projections for where we would love to see our life going. Something that came up in our conversation was this idea of being all in and fully committed to our goals and our dreams. I've mentioned in other podcasts about the idea of committing and recommitting to your dreams. And today we're going to get into harnessing that energy of passion, dedication, and love of moving forward while having non-attachment to the past and being able to make quick decisions in the moment and being able to continuously move forward to harness our dreams, to allow them to unfold, and to continuously commit to the life that we would absolutely love living. Julius Caesar quoted that if you want to take the island, burn the boats. This quote was when he, 2000 years ago, conquered or was attempting to conquer England by boat. And so what he came up against was that many of his crew members were fleeing and preparing to retreat because they were being swallowed up by their own fear. The level of commitment that one has to have in the face of fear can feel overwhelming sometimes because when fear gets involved, it can feel, well, scary. It can feel like you're doing something and you're afraid to fail. You're afraid to be embarrassed. You're afraid that you won't succeed. You're afraid that you're not going to show up. You're not going to be enough. And all of these internalized fears can really hold us back if we let them. Something I'd love to remind myself when I'm feeling swallowed up by my own fear is one, noticing that fear is there in general and being okay that fear is there. Something that helps me deal with my fear, not deal with my fear, but something that helps me work with my fear and the stories that I'm telling myself about myself or the situation or what might happen is acknowledging my fear and saying, okay, you're only coming up because I am on the green growing edge of my own becoming here. And if this means enough to me, fear, you're going to be along for the ride. Something that Ali mentioned, which I really, really appreciate, is that it's kind of like fear and you are holding hands, and fear is tugging in one direction, saying, no, 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 let's retreat back. And you're tugging in the other direction, saying, no, 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 we're going here. And instead, what you can do is metaphorically take fear by the hand because you're already holding hands and instead of trying to yank each other apart and saying, I'll release you, what she mentioned is that you can guide fear, hold fear by the hand, and then take her or him over the shoulder and just say, I see you, fear. Tell me all about it, but we're still going this way. And go in the direction of where you would love to head. I thought this was such a great metaphor and a way of being able to Acknowledge fear. Acknowledge what fear is trying to say to you. Not make agreement with the stories and or thoughts that fear is feeding you, but rather being able to continue to take the steps that you need to take or would love to take to serve your dream, to realize your potential while being able to still move in that direction. And so, for those of you who are birthing these beautiful, beautiful dreams of yours, starting a new relationship, ending an old relationship, building a business, expanding your business, leaving your job to move towards a new one, booking a trip to a place you've never been before. Whatever it is that you're currently navigating in your circumstances, trust that everything right now that you are experiencing, all the good, 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 and all the maybe not so good, is absolutely here for you for your own becoming. We're in this journey to grow, to continue to thrive and live into an even greater version of ourselves than we know it today. Life, as you have probably heard in my other podcast, is ever seeking a freer, fuller, and even more expanded version of itself by means of us. And it's not to say that as we're on this journey that we're going to say, woo, I'm here with like no fear whatsoever. You probably already know this, that fear is always going to be there with you. So you can either pull and tug and say, I will just release you and never have fear again and say, ha ha ha, I'm rid of you forever. And then be surprised that it shows up again. Or you can just understand right off the get-go that as soon as fear comes up, this feeling that bubbles up in your stomach and you're feeling a little anxious, like you feel stuck, you can't go anywhere, you can't make a move. Acknowledging it first off is a perfect step. And then just being able to take the step you can take in the moment in order to continue to move ahead. So, this idea of 110% commitment can feel both liberating, freeing, and motivating for many of us when we choose to decide to cut away from everything that is unlike the dream that is unfolding. The Latin root decidere from the word decide means to cut away from. As you're endeavoring to live this beautiful life of yours and cultivate something new, there are going to be beliefs, stories, and patterns that have been ingrained in your brain that are unlike who you are becoming. If the version of you that knows that you have a beautiful relationship with a loving, caring partner is still feeling emotions of neglect or unworthiness or betrayal or hurt or pain in some way, you must choose to cut away from all of that in order to realize that the person who's living this beautiful, magnificent relationship is feeling loved, is feeling grateful, is feeling cared for, secure, and vibrant in their relationship. So there are going to be some stories that need to be repatterned, some thoughts that need to be repatterned, and they have to come up in order to be repatterned. Like I mentioned in my other video, if our cup is full of fear, hurt, guilt, resentment, judgment of any sort, and we're trying to, live our life full of joy, gratitude, peace, passion, if we're still trying to dump it into our cup that's still full of all of these lower vibration emotions, then there's no room for it. So, when it comes up, when fear bubbles up, when anxiety and judgment and guilt and hurt bubble up, because it will, it's your job as soulful being having this beautiful, wonderful, radiant human experience in your own body to recognize them for what they are, not have any sort of attachment, but curiosity and say, hey, how's it going? Didn't realize you were still here, but thanks for coming up. Means that I'm on the green growing edge of becoming. Awesome. Recognize, release, and repattern. One way I do this often, so often, pretty much all day, every day, maybe not all day, every day, but oftentimes when I'm about to make a big move. And I'm cutting away from this life that I have known thus far in my young life of living. And I'm about to change something major. And the story or the pattern that comes up, you can't do this. Who are you to step into this? It's going to be harder than you think. You don't have the money for that. They come up and they can feel so overwhelming if it's a big or if it's a long-term story or belief I've been telling myself about myself. So when they come up, I recognize and honor them and say, "Oh, hey, thanks for being here. Appreciate ya." And I say, "That was then. This is now. Now I know that I'm an infinite being and I am abundantly resourced. Now I know that I am loved just for being who I am. My worth comes from being a soulful being, having a human experience, not from my education, not from my productivity, and not from who I am to other people." So up until now, and that was then, this is now, are powerful tools that you can use whenever you would like in order to help repattern. Maybe at the level of fact, you might be thinking it and saying, "Oh, yeah, that was then. This is now. Now I know an abundant human being, and money comes to me in increasing ways all the time in a variety of different ways." Sometimes you just got to say it and say it again and keep saying it. And then you learn how to feel it. And your body resonates with the words and saying, "Okay, well, what does abundance even mean? What does prosperity even mean? What does it mean to feel secure?" To cut away from everything in the past means you're going to continuously trim and edit. You're going to pluck the weeds from your mind that no longer serve this next becoming of you. Like a garden, you're growing this beautiful garden full of flowers and fruits and vegetables and herbs, whatever it is that you're growing. But weeds, as they do sometimes, sneak in and they say, "Sup, guys, how's it going? I'd like to plant myself here and grow and thrive and prosper just like you." But when you notice them, because it's pretty obvious when you're cultivating sunflowers and you see a weed and you're like, "Oh, I didn't want this. No problem. Put on my metaphorical pruning gloves and pick them out." It's what's going to happen when you're cultivating the sunflower of your dreams. You're going to recognize a thought of empowerment versus the thought of disempowerment. And when you are 100% committed to your dream, committed in saying, "I will not let any of these weed thoughts stop me from becoming the version of me that I am meant to become, that I am deserving of becoming," you become so aware of them more skillfully as you continue to walk the path, if it means something to you. And this comes into my next thought of being 100%, 110% committed to your dream. It means that you look for your North Star. In many, many of my videos, I tell about the importance of having a vision, a goal, a dream, a visualization of what it is that you would love to create in life, something that sparks fire in your heart and brings you to life because it's meant for you. It is your soul's calling. It is your ikigai. It is your purpose. It could be your North Star. Something that when you're in the middle of making a decision, whether to go forward with something or not. An opportunity presents itself, and you're like, "Well, do I take this step? Do I not?" Your North Star, your purpose, your vision is going to be like a filter to allow you to decide in the moment whether this is for you or not. If you are fully committed to realizing your dream of having a vibrant relationship full of love, commitment, someone who shows up for you, someone who does their own self-care, someone who loves to snuggle you, someone who loves to go on walks with you, or loves to read with you, or go on adventures with you. If someone comes your way and you don't feel that spark, they, instead of going on adventures, they like to huddle inside and, I don't know, drink all day or something like that, and you don't feel that spark because you understand your vision, your dream, because you are in love with it. The people will come into your life and they may be for you, they may not be. You are going to have opportunities everywhere when you look for them, but they may not all be for you. They can just be presented in your life and saying, well, you called this in. Is this a yes or a no? Your body will be the indicator, and your vision will be the filter. If it is a heck yeah, you're gonna know it because you're like, oh man, this checks all the boxes. This is exactly what's in alignment with what I have been saying to myself, what I list every day, what I read to myself, what I think about, what I feel in my body. Yes, this is a full-blown yes, or it's not. When you are unsure and unclear about what it is you actually want to create in your life, you will be unsure when opportunities come, whether or not you take the step for it or against it. If you're unsure about what it is you want to create in life, Mind Mastery Monday is something I hold every Monday, 3 to 4 p.m. PST, which is Pacific Standard Time, to help you not only create a vision for the life that it is you would love to live, but tools to help not just short-term goals, but long-term goals to help you every step of the way to master your mind, your thinking, your decision making, your testing of the dream, and being able to not only bridge and build it, but become the person who lives that life. So if you're unsure or if you want to excel in the life you're already living, check out Mind Mastery Monday. It's live over Zoom. It's free for anyone who wants to join. And I love having even more people to share in the lifelong learning in all aspects of holistic, beautiful life living. Something that came to mind that inspired me while I was listening to Rob Dial, the mindset mentor, is the idea of the paradox of choice. Something that happens when we give ourselves too many options in life is that we feel drained and we have almost this paralysis of analysis. We have this idea in mind, we're like, I don't know, maybe it's this. And our brain actually becomes fatigued because it takes so much thinking to think about all the various ideas of whether or not you should, whether or not you shouldn't, what about this, what about that? And he was mentioning that sometimes it's easier when you limit your options to make a quick decision. And I found this to be so relatable. Up until now, I've been working with my coach about my wishy-washy side of my nature. And there's this beautiful part of me that when I've been getting to know her, she comes up and she's like, well, the reason why I've been so wishy-washy is because I just want to make the right and perfect decision for you. And up until now, that was great. I analyzed the situation or many situations. I could talk myself into or out of something, but it would take me forever to come to an actual decision. And by the end of it, I was so tired that I didn't even want to make a decision. I was like, I don't know, just this. And when I listened to the podcast and he was mentioning the idea of paralysis of analysis and brain fatigue because you give yourself so many options, I was like, oh man, like that sounds so familiar. It's funny. I'm still growing that part of me that makes quick decisions and changes them slowly. Napoleon Hill, in the book that he wrote, Think and Grow Rich, says that successful people know how to make decisions quickly and change them slowly. They go with their gut instinct and they move forward with 100% commitment with their gut instinct and what they think and what they know internally is the best decision. It may be, it may not be, but it removes like décider, to decide to cut away from, it removes everything else. If you are too busy and you're stuck in the moment with trying to make a decision and you haven't moved anywhere, the idea of not making a decision, time will just keep going on. It waits for nobody. And so, if you really want to continue to be successful in your career, in your relationships, in your health or time and money freedom, being able to make decisions quickly is an important skill. I will repeat this, an important skill that you develop. And so, for those of you who are finding that you're a little bit hesitant, that you're trying to figure out what everything that's good, everything that's bad about a situation, how you can move forwards the best, what is like the perfect or right or wrong. Something that really helps me is that, what if there was no right or wrong? What if there just was? You make the decision, you get a result. If you love the result, keep doing it. If you don't, try something new. This continues the momentum. And you'll know when you keep making decisions, you're like, okay, that's great. This is going great. You're like, oop, nope, not this. Move on to something else. You continue to go and you trust yourself more and more to make these decisions. You forgo the hemming and hawing and you're just, okay, what's next? Okay, now this. New information has arisen. Okay, analyze, move on. It seems very quick like this, and sometimes it is. Once the ball is rolling, sometimes it is very snappy decisions. And other times, like I mentioned in my other podcast, taking a step back and breathing, giving yourself a moment to just look at the situation and what's going on, checking in with your North Star. Is this actually in alignment with who you want to be, what you want to see, do, be, create, and have in life? When you're clear on what it is you want to create, decisions become easier to make because you can gauge it and filter it into, you can filter it through what it is that you're wanting to create. If your idea is to create even greater health and you're deciding whether or not to eat a bag of chips or having a salad, look to the version of you. What is he or she doing? In your vision of who you are becoming, is this version of you eating a bag of chips and sitting on the couch, or are they eating a salad and going on a walk? It becomes very easy if you're giving yourself one, limited options to be able to make those decisions quicker and easier and with more oomph to them. And it also allows you to be able to trust yourself even more to make those decisions when you know who it is that you want to become and what it is you want to create. Seize opportunities as they come up because they won't be there forever. Something that I'll bring back into this episode is when I talked about people who play basketball. They're on the court, players are moving. You have the ball and you're ready to either shoot or pass. If someone's blocking your way and you're about to make that move, pivot, go somewhere else, look for your opening and shoot. If you wait for the moment, you're like, is this the right opportunity? Yes, no, what should I do? Should I keep analyzing? And you get stuck in your paralysis of analysis, someone might come and block your way. Something will come and obscure that direction. That's okay. Pivot, look for your next opening. Winners don't quit on themselves. And you're only a quote unquote loser if you stop trying it all. You can ask yourself, how committed have I really been to my dream? How committed have I been to realizing my health goals, changing my job, or building my business, creating time and money freedom for myself to spend more time with my family or friends? Whatever it is, whatever the answer is, make that okay. Because we're in this beautiful, radiant human experience to grow, to learn, to have fun. And being 100% committed to something doesn't have to be serious. It just means that you're committed to realizing it, that you're saying, this is what I want to have. This means enough to me that I'm choosing to forego all other options. I'm burning my boats and I am taking this island. No, at no, whatever the cost, this will be mine. This definite, sure plan of action will guarantee you success. I'm not saying it's not going to come with failure. But if you are 100% committed to whatever it is that you want to realize, and you're willing to cut away from everything that is unlike who it is you want to become, you will be successful in whatever way success means to you. If it means greater happiness, if it means greater life satisfaction and self-respect, if it means more money, if it means fame, if it means more time with your family, whatever success means to you, if you are willing to do it and you are 100% committed to it, and you're willing to recommit to it, life will be easier for you because you're choosing to make it easy. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. Thank you again, Allie, for the inspiring conversation to help create this podcast today. I am so thankful and grateful and proud of where this podcast is going and the amount of inspired people who continue to help grow this podcast, this community, and each other as a whole. I trust, hope, and expect that you all have yourself a committed, wonderful day. And I look forward to talking with you all very soon and or seeing you all for Mind Mastery Monday soon. Thank you all for joining me today because it has been my absolute pleasure to be here with you. Make sure to give this podcast a 5-star review and share it with all your loved ones because it helps in creating even more awesome content. If you're interested in learning how to effortlessly create even more health, vitality, and time and money freedom, sign up for my free monthly vision workshop live over Zoom. Until then, I hope you all have a powerful day, and I look forward to chatting with you all real soon.